Good morning. Welcome to Fury Thursday. Today we are starting our journey into triads. What they're made up of, how to find them, and how they show up on guitar. So let's get to the whiteboard. Okay, today, triads, and specifically how they work on guitar. Okay? Triads. First of all, what the heck is a triad? A triad is a chord made up of how many notes? 3. Tri. Right? That's where the tri comes from. 3 notes. Question is, what notes? How do you pick the notes? How do you know? If you're looking at sheet music, right, there's your grand staff. Triads, the most basic form of them, which is all we're going to deal with today, is stacked in thirds. Okay, they look like this. Right, 3 notes stacked on thirds, or if you want to look at them on the lines, they look like that. So that's a triad stacked in thirds. So how do we get that onto the strings? Well, let's take a look at a broader view first, okay? Okay. Build out a keyboard here. Okay, so let's take the chord G, for example. G chord. All major chords, all minor chords, any triad is just made up of the 3 notes. You just have to know which ones. G, for example, is made up of a G, a B, and a D. Okay? Now on the keyboard, it looks like this. If you played G, there's a B, there's a D. Now if you played all 3 of those notes at the same time, that's a G chord. Okay? But those aren't the only G's, B's, and D's on the keyboard. They're not the only G's, B's, and D's in music or on the guitar. Anyway, so what happens if you play this D? It's still a G chord, because you're technically still playing only 3 notes. It doesn't matter what octave they're in. It doesn't matter where they're at. You could play all the G's, B's, and D's on the keyboard, on a guitar, whatever. You're still only going to be playing a G chord, the triad, okay? So that's the first step. It doesn't matter what octave you're in. Now, the most basic form of a triad is when they're all stacked in thirds, all close together. You can space them out however you want. It's still just a G chord, okay? So, it's just the 3 notes. So what does that look like on guitar? Well, let's take a look. Here's your guitar. Headstock. So these are the strings going up and down. Frets are, let me get this light out of the way. The frets are horizontal. Okay, so this is fret 1, here's fret 2, here's fret 3. So when you play a G chord, well, no, let's back up. What are the names of the strings? Right, we should know that first. It goes E, A, D, G, B, and E again. Okay, names of the strings. So when you play a G chord, let's just take a look at this. You're playing all 6 strings, but theory tells us it should only be 3 notes. So let's just take a look. Second finger there, first finger there, third finger there. That is a G chord. Okay? So we're changing these strings that we have our fingers on So if this was an E, let's count up, that would be an F. And you can see just we're going in half steps. Those are the frets. So if this was an E, one step up would be an F. Next step up would be an F sharp. Third, this becomes a G. Okay? Here's an A string. We have a finger on it, so we're changing it. Looks like we're going 1, 2. We're on the second fret. So what does that give us? 1, 2. This is now a B. These are open strings. We're not touching these with any fingers. So this stays a D. This stays G. This stays B. Here we have our third finger on this E string. So what does this become? We're going up 1, 2, 3 frets. 1, 2, 3. This becomes G. All right, now take a look at that. G, B, D, G, B, G. That's still only the 3 notes. G, B, and D. Wow. Okay, so I know some other people play G a little bit differently. Sometimes it looks like this. Right? That's a more modern thing. But what does that equal out to? Okay, so this stays the same. We changed the finger, but we're on the same fret. This, we've added a finger to it. So this is no longer B, right? So what does this become? Well, if this is the B string, we're going up 1, 2, 3 frets. Let's go to the B. We'll go 1, 2, 3. You just exchanged the B you were playing for a D, okay? Now, this is the case with all the chords, especially the cowboy chords that you play on guitar, right? C, A, G, E, D. Any chord that you see, and there's nothing after it. It doesn't say C7 or G minor 6 or nothing. If it's just the chord, you're just playing the 3 notes. And I would urge you to take a look, count out the frets, see what you're actually playing. Because what this helps us out in the future is, this is all just major triads. But let's take a look at minor, just for fun. Okay? What makes a chord a minor? Well, easy way to do it. You take the third of the chord. In this case, it's the middle note. And you flat it. You go down 1 half step. Okay? So if we're playing B, B's the middle of the chord. It's the third. First, third, fifth. We'll go down 1 half step. This becomes B flat. Okay? So a G minor, notice the little M here, is G, B flat, D. That's the only thing that changes between the major and the minor chords in terms of basic triads. Okay, that's all we're dealing with here. Okay, so let's say you don't know how to play a G minor chord on your guitar. Well, now you know the notes you're playing, especially if you play it this way, because you only have 1 B in the chord, and that's the only thing that changed. So, easy way to do this. You just need to flat the third. So this is our only B. So let's just move this down, and all of a sudden we have a B flat. That is a G minor chord, G minor triad. Only playing 3 notes. The B flat is in there instead of the B. That's G minor. Okay, that works with every chord, every major version of a chord. So just for example, an A major chord, A, C sharp, E. That's an A major chord. To make it A minor, you bring the third down a half step. Here's C sharp, bring it down, C. So if you know how to play the A minor chord, but you don't know how to play A, well, just map out what you're playing and raise the C. Or maybe you don't know. Maybe it's the other way. Maybe you know A major, but you don't know how to play A minor. Map it out, find the C sharp, and lower it 1 fret. All right. Now that's the beauty of the guitar. I know it's complicated at the beginning, but you have so many options at your fingertips. A piano's nice because it's all laid out. It's all spread out. There's only one place to play, you know, C4 in the middle of the piano. That's the only place to play it. On guitar, I mean, there's at least 3 that I can think of right off the top of my head. You can play the same note in 3 different places, right? That's opportunity. If you map it out like this, if you know where you're going, you know where you've been, it gives you a lot of power on how to figure out what you're doing. I mean, it's the same as learning to read and then reading to learn. All right, you have to learn the basics first. You have to learn how to read. Right, you have to understand where you're going, where you've been. But once you get the basics, you use that to go wherever you want. It's learning to read first and then reading to learn. Yeah. So anyway, that's the basic of triads. It falls heavily into scales and key signatures, and which we can go over another time. But I think that's enough information for now. And let me know if you have any questions. And I think that'll do it for today. Thanks, everybody. Bye.